And welcome to Ducks No Sports. This week, we're talking about Week 5 in the NFL. Interesting, a quarter way through the season. Now we're part of the season where we really can't say it's early, because it's not early anymore. We're a quarter way through the year, and we're really starting to see who the contenders and the pretenders are in the NFL this year. And buys this week go as follows: the Cowboys, the Lions, who need it, the Raiders, and the Bucks. All teams coming off tough losses last week, and all teams that might need to get some stuff figured out during the bye. But our first match of the week, we're going to talk about the Thursday nighter, Arizona traveling to St. Louis to take on the Rams. Arizona Cardinals, maybe you don't know this, but they are undefeated through 4 weeks for the first time since '74. Very interesting, good up, and this team gets a little better every week. Kevin Kolb has come in for Skelton. He's played amazing. For my money, he's played great. Kevin Kolb's getting it done. Long passes to Fitz. The short stuff, he's just doing all around the field. And this offense is running pretty good, even without beating Wells, who left in the offseason, who haven't missed him at all, which is kind of surprising. And on defense, this team is playing really well. And if we're giving out, Coach of the Year through quarter way through the season, it's got to be the Wiz. Because he's coaching out of his mind right now. This Arizona Cardinal team, maybe not as good as talent-wise as they were in '08, but this team is getting it done on the field. And yes, they haven't really beat anybody really big except for the Pats in Week 2. But the Arizona Cardinals are playing really well right now. And I'm not shocked they're undefeated. They are a pretty good team this year. Can they challenge the San Francisco 49ers in the West? That's the question. I think they can. Can they beat the 49ers? I think it's a whole different issue. I don't think they're quite there yet, but the Arizona Cardinals playing really well, and I really expect them to play well on Thursday night, because I'm really starting to like this Arizona team. Kevin Kolb, who I'll admit, I'm not Kevin Kolb's biggest supporter in the world, but Kevin Kolb is getting it done. Down the field, short stuff, controlling the clock. He's just, not turning the ball over. That's very key to Kevin Kolb. He's not turning the ball over right now, which he did a lot in his early in his career, and he's playing really well right now, and I really like the Arizona Cardinals this week. And they're playing a team on the other side of the ball who actually isn't that bad anymore. You think the St. Louis Rams, you think of horribleness, and that hasn't been this year. Since Jeff Fisher's come in, he's really done a good job in changing the culture there in St. Louis, and I really like the job he's done. We're talking about Coach of the Year. Maybe Jeff Fisher might get a few votes too. It's still early, but playing really well. Sam Bradford, who isn't playing outstanding, but he's playing good enough to win games. And they beat a pretty good Seattle Seahawks team last week, and they've been pretty much in every game a quarter way through this year, and that's pretty impressive, because they've already matched their win total from last year, which wasn't tough because it was only 2. But that being said, this team's playing really well. They're 2-2 right now, and I really like the St. Louis team going forward. They're very scrappy. They just get the job done. Arguably should have won Week 1 against the Lions. But hey, this St. Louis team, they just never quit on you. They play you for 60 minutes. Do they have all the talent in the world? No. But are they going to play you hard for 60 minutes? Yes, they will, because Jeff Fisher has come and done a great job. Sam Bradford's getting it done, and this defense has stepped up and playing really well with some young studs they got there in defense. But even though it's in prime time this week, St. Louis, I want to make a statement, but I just think Arizona is just a little bit better than the Rams right now. It'll be the Arizona Cardinals go into St. Louis and beat the Rams on Thursday night on NFL Network. And our next matchup, as the Denver Broncos, coming off an impressive beatdown of the Oakland Raiders, travel to New England, who had a little impressive beatdown of their own against the Buffalo Bills. We'll start with Denver. Peyton Manning showed that, hey, maybe he still has what it takes to get it done in the league. This whole season hasn't really been a great year for Peyton Manning so far. The first week against the Steelers played really well, but ever since then it's been a little decline down, but playing some good teams along the way, like the Falcons and the Texans. But the Denver Broncos, if their defense could play the way they did last week, this team will be good and will win the West, in my opinion, in the AFC, because this team is a really good team on defense. Von Miller may be the best pass rusher in the NFL. Might sound crazy, but it's true. And they have some other great defensive players. Champ Bailey. I know he's like a million years old, but still getting it done. in the defensive backfield. And Dumerville is still a great defensive end in this league. Still another great pass rusher they have. And that's how Denver Broncos are going to win games on defense, is getting after the passer. I mean, with Von Miller and Dumerville coming from each side, very, very lethal. And on the offensive side of the ball, Peyton Manning played great last week. His first good game of the season last week. And I expect that to continue because Peyton Manning is a future Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever play in the NFL. And we'll see this week because he's going against his old nemesis, his old rival, his old arch enemy, Tom Brady, and the New England Patriots, who played, I'll give him credit. I thought the New England Patriots were on a downhill slope. That's why I liked the Buffalo Bills last week, because I figured I thought they were catching New England in a good spot. But they showed us last week that, oh yeah, New England Patriots are still a good team in this league and still one of the best teams in the AFC. I mean, what they did in that second half was unreal. Especially that third quarter. I mean, they were losing, I think, 2 touchdowns, and they just came on fire and just stomped all over the Bills in the second half. Very, very impressive showing. Tom Brady, that's how this team, it's pretty clear the New England Patriots are going to win one way, and that's Tom Brady being Tom Brady. If Tom Brady is off on a day and he's not finding receivers, then the Patriots are screwed. Because clearly they do not have the defense to keep the Patriots game if Tom Brady struggles. And they don't really have the running game yet. It is improving week by week, but they don't have the running game yet to take some pressure off Tom Brady. So it's very simple for New England. Tom Brady has to be Tom Brady, which is one of the best QBs in the history of the NFL. He needs to find all his weapons. Kronk is having a really good year again. And Lloyd's having a really good year, a bounce-back year for Lloyd. And I expect New England to keep rolling this week, as I think Denver on the road, it's a tough spot for him. Going to Foxborough, still a tough place to play, even though they lost once this year to Arizona. But I think New England Patriots, I think Tom Brady will be jacked up to play Peyton Manning. I think Tom Brady won't put a good showing against Peyton Manning. I believe the New England Patriots beat the Denver Broncos this week in Foxborough. And I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a tight game. Maybe an overtime, field goal type game. Last person have the ball wins. But I just believe New England is just a little bit better right now than the Denver Broncos. And I believe the New England Patriots beat the Denver Broncos this week. And our next matchup, we could see some history in this game, as the San Diego Chargers travel to New Orleans to take on the 0-4, that's right, the 0-4 New Orleans Saints. Because clearly the Saints are not marching in this year. We'll start with San Diego. Good bounce back game last week for San Diego, going into a tough place to play in KC and just running them over last week. Very, very impressive showing. No, this is when the Chargers kind of, as I say, take their nap during the season, as they always go to a strong start the first few games and then kind of midway through the season kind of struggle, don't really show they've really the effort, not really in games, and then the end of the season get red hot and then make the playoffs. That's been the Chargers for the last basically 5 years. But the San Diego Chargers look like maybe a different team this year. They look maybe like a Super Bowl type team this year, as they're playing good. Phillip Rivers lost a lot of weapons in the offseason, but hasn't affected his game whatsoever, proving sometimes you just need to be a great QB to get it done in this league, and he's getting it done right now. And we all knew this offense was going to be good. I mean, Ryan Matthews back now, he's running the ball. We all knew this offense would be good, but going the year, we didn't know how good this defense was going to be. And maybe not the week before against the Falcons where they just got destroyed, but this year this defense has been pretty solid. Not getting off the field on critical third downs, doing that. Not giving up touchdowns in the red zone. Very, very good. The San Diego Chargers playing really well right now. And the way they can play an offense, which they can score with Phillip Rivers, kill some clock with Matthews, and the defense keeps getting it done, flying to the passer, picking some balls off, getting to the quarterback. I think this team will be good. But they're playing a team this week in the New Orleans Saints, who, let's face facts, the season's over. I mean, the New Orleans Saints are not going to win 12 straight games and go to the playoffs. I mean, they're 0-4, the odds are against them, the stats are against them. Let's just face facts. They have the talent to be a Super Bowl type team, but it's just not happening this year. They're 0-4. I'm not saying it's all because of the Bounty Gate, but I think it's a big issue with the Bounty Gate. I think it's pretty clear Sean Payton is more missed than people gave credit to start year. I mean, Sean Payton was clearly their MVP. Talk about Drew Brees. Well, clearly Sean Payton is their best player. I mean, Sean Payton, maybe this even gives more merit to how good Sean Payton is. maybe Sean Payton is the best coach in the NFL now, because they clearly miss him in New Orleans. Drew Brees clearly misses him because he doesn't have his go-to single caller anymore. But let's face facts, this is a desperate team. And I think with Drew Brees is going to play his ass off every time out because he is just a baller. And for New Orleans Saints, it's not really their offense, because their offense is still putting up points. It's their defense. The New Orleans Saints have the worst defense in the league. I mean, they can't get off the field. You know, they let mediocre quarterbacks have huge games. And it's just been week in, week out, it just shows their defense just sucks. Let's be honest, their defense has been awful this year from start to finish. But I think there's something special in there this week as Drew Brees. All he needs is a touchdown, and he will break Johnny U's consecutive touchdown streak, which will be 48 games. Very impressive if he gets it done. Very impressive. And I just think with that record in the air, which I think he's going to get, because the New Orleans Saints being a passing team and all the Saints' great weapons that they have, I think he's going to get that done. I think that's a lock. And I think there's just something special in the air this week in New Orleans in prime time on Sunday night. I think a desperate team comes to play on prime time, and I think New Orleans Saints gets their first win of the season. It's beat the San Diego Chargers, and Drew Brees gets the record, and I just believe New Orleans Saints, like I've been saying, something special in the air, and I believe the New Orleans Saints beat the San Diego Chargers this week, and I think this one won't even be close. And our next matchup, the Monday Nighter, as the Houston Texans, the undefeated Houston Texans, I might add, maybe the best overall team in the league? I think so. But we'll get that in a minute. Traveling to the Meadowlands to take on the Jets, who S-U-C-K suck. But we'll start with Houston here. Houston, for my money, the best team in the NFL right now. I mean, who's playing better? Maybe Atlanta. That's the only team maybe comes close to playing Houston, but Houston's playing great right now. I mean, Matt Schaub, 1 year and all, playing great, getting the ball downfield to Andre Johnson, who, let's be honest, Andre Johnson, like, hands down. Like, I tried to make a case for Calvin Johnson a couple weeks ago, but no. Andre Johnson's clearly the best receiver in the NFL. I mean, a great running attack with Foster and Tate there, and this team on offense is just lethal. I mean, they can score at any time. You know, Matt Schaub is proving to be a franchise-type guy in Houston and on defense, but what can you say? I mean, the Houston Texans may be next to the 49ers, might have the best defense in the league. And they might have the best ball hawks in the league, as they took about, three touchdowns for three picks for touchdowns last week. Very, very, very good getting it done. And I believe the Houston Texans, the best overall team, they have one of the best offenses, one of the best defenses, and a very good special team unit. With the Houston Texans, one of the most overall best teams in the league, and maybe the most complete team in the NFL right now. Oh, and they're playing a team in the New York Jets who are riddled with injuries and riddled with problems. And it all starts up front of the quarterback position, as Mark Sanchez has not played well this year. Let's be honest. First couple weeks played all right, but there's just declined downhill ever since. And maybe it's time for a quarterback change. No, I'm not Mr. Tebow. I'm not big on Tim Tebow. I don't think he is really that big of an upgrade to Mark Sanchez, but it's just not working with Sanchez. You need to change it up. You need to change it up. You need to maybe give a spark to some of these players. I mean, with Holmes going down for the year, you don't got that threat to score anymore, and let's face it, the New York Jets need a spark right now, and maybe it's Tim Tebow. Maybe Tim Tebow can work his magic with the Jets like he did last year with the Broncos, but I don't know what's going to happen, but something has to be done because there could be a lot of people on the gun right now. I mean, I'm talking Mark Sanchez's job's on the line, Rex Ryan's job's on the line, and maybe it's just time for Tebow time in New York. I mean, wasn't a big fan of this trade when it went down. Didn't think it would help the team. Think it would only separate the locker room, which it clearly has. I mean, there you got your Sanchez guys and you got your Tim Tebow guys, and that's pretty clear in the room. And I just think Mark Sanchez, I think Mark Sanchez could be a good quarterback in the right system. It's clear he's in the right time for him, and who knows? Because this team is full of injuries right now. I mean, you have Revis, who's done for the year, not looking good. You know, you have Holmes possibly done for the year, not looking good. That's your best offensive and defensive player right there, gone for the year. not looking good. Maybe it's time you start thinking about 2013 in New York. But I just think with all these problems, maybe we'll see how good Tim Tebow can play. Who knows? Maybe he gets some of the magic from last year and takes this team to the playoffs. We'll have to see. But it doesn't look that way, as they're going to go with Mark Sanchez again. And I think it's a mistake, because I think they're going to get embarrassed and killed on prime time on Monday night. So I think the Houston Texans stay undefeated as they beat the New York Jets. All right, our wrestler match for the week. Miami at Cincinnati. I'll take Andy Dalton in a rout over the Dolphins. Green Bay at the Colts. I'll take Green Bay. Very good game last week. Really came out of the shell a little bit last week, so I expect that to continue. Baltimore at KC. I think this is a no-doubter. I think Baltimore kicks their ass. KC's ass. Cleveland at the New York Giants. I'll take the Giants. Giants are starting to play well. Philly at Pittsburgh. I liked what I saw of Philly last week. Michael Vick played really well. I think it continues this week as he takes on a Pittsburgh Steelers team isn't that good, as the Eagles will beat the Steelers. Atlanta at Washington. Atlanta. I like Atlanta to stay undefeated against the Washington Redskins. Seattle at Carolina. Interesting game. Big game for both teams, but I'll take the Carolina Panthers over the Seattle Seahawks. Chicago at Jacksonville. I'll take the Chicago Bears to keep on rolling against the Jaguars. Tennessee at Minnesota. I'll take Minnesota to go 4-1 in the season. Who would have thought that? Not me. That's for sure. No, not me at all. Buffalo at San Francisco. I'll take San Fran. All right, that's it for this week. But remember, keep track of my picks as last week. Great bounce back week for me last week, as I went 11-4 in my picks. And a few of the picks were kind of obvious, so I should have been a lot better. As what was I thinking? What the Buffalo Bills really gonna beat the Pats? I'm an idiot. But brings my record to 39-24, so not bad. But till next time, I'm your Ducks for saying I'm Ducks, and I know sports, kind of.